When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be.
When I look at the mirror, an unhappy body often stares back at me. A body that has never been able to find a place for itself. My story is not of a great tragedy. It is of a relationship gone wrong between me and my body. Once, not very long ago, it was a happy relationship. But somehow, without my realizing it, it went wrong. March 2005. I am bent over the basin, watching the food my body rejects swirl down the drain. A heady joy comes over me. My body was finally getting rid of it all. I realized I wanted it to go on, to flush it all out, so I could start with a clean slate. It was at that moment that I realized something was wrong. But even as I did, a happy thought overrode it all. I was lighter. August 1992. The annual recordings of the family follies by my uncle. It is my father's birthday, but the cake is the hero of the piece.
Happy birthday.
My sister and I were co-conspirators, partners in crime, sharing our loves and hates. We decided that we would not share the cake with our fat friend, who gets 2 lunchboxes to school and never shares it with us. I am happy in these pictures. I think I look thinner than my sister.
I simply do not want to be fat anymore. I mean, I used to be pretty chubby and I didn't like, now that I look back, I don't think I was attractive. I'm not saying I'm drop dead gorgeous, model level gorgeous now. But I like the fact that I can wear a certain kind of clothes. I like the fact I can wear a certain size of clothes.
While we were growing up, Nancy Drew was our favorite heroine. Thin and beautiful, with a hunky boyfriend. Till the end of school, we shared the grief of not turning into her. Now a gulf of size S and M separates us. We are no longer twins. First Nancy Drew, then Sushmita Sen. The names have kept changing, but they have always been there, telling me that I am never quite there, that I should be trying harder.
I've just seen her face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just the girl for me, and I want all the world to see we've met.
Even the headless ones seem to be telling me something.
I say it's there to make you feel bad, to make you want to aspire to be there. And you're never going to be there.
My sister and I often joked that we would never be found dead in a store like Revolution. It was a store for bigger women, the others.
Many times I've been asked, are you trying to promote obesity? And I'm saying, no, not at all. I'm on a constant diet, for my whole life I've been either on a diet or in an exercise regime to want to lose weight. But the fact of it is, until and unless I lose that weight, I don't want to look like a potato sack.
Yes.
It's been said to me कि मैडम आप एक्सेल हो, आपके लिए फैशन नहीं है. I've been told this, and when I've been told this, it's not just me. How many of my customers have been told this? Is almost each and every one of them has been told this at some point or the other. We walk into shops and I'm told ki madam gent section mein try kar lo. Why should I try in the gent section? I want the latest colors, I want the latest styles, and I want it to fit me right. I mean, we've had customers who walked in, who are very underconfident, who are nervous, who say, I don't know what my friends will say, I don't know what my mother-in-law will say, I don't know what my husband will say, and they buy only black, thinking somehow black will make them disappear or look thinner or something. And I've met the same customer and she's not any thinner. And 1 year later, she's looked at me and says, where's the Rani pink? Where's the red? Where's the fun? And I've reminded them, I mean, if it's customers who I've dealt with, I've reminded them to say, remember 1 year ago you wanted only black, and they've laughed. Saying there's more of me to love, yeah, love me. Take it or leave it, really.
Nisha did not care about what they expected her to be. In her response to the images and messages around her, there was a spirit of challenge which made me aware of my own unquestioning acceptance.
मेरे हस्बैंड ने भी मुझे बाहर लेकर जाना बंद कर दिया।
कुछ ठीक नहीं होगा जब तक तुम्हारा वेट रिड्यूस नहीं होता। कोई लड़का वड़का नहीं मिलने वाला तुम्हें।
I like slim, I like slim, I like slim.
A lot of people don't know how to react to me when I'm not crying or I'm not apologizing for who I am, what I look like, what size I am. The comfort zone people would be happier in is if they could be the shoulder for me to cry on.
Revolution was a happy discovery, a space where difference was respected. I felt happier about my body there. But was it because I knew I didn't belong there? There were no mannequins in Nisha's store, no unchanging models of perfection staring down at me. I saw real women there who felt hungry, grew fat, put on weight, and felt anxious about it. I was with Shivani, a 22-year-old student of literature, whose anxieties echoed my own.
The first thing I needed to control is my body. The first thing that I have to do is probably shed weight so that I look better, so that I look different, so that then my life would probably be much better than it's right now. So it is something that it's the starting point. Of course, building up on that, I can do a lot of other things. And it's not rational. It's not at all rational to think that way, because not that if you have a perfect body, you'll have a perfect life, but you just think that way. It did not remain just food, food that you eat for your survival. It became almost the most important thing in your head, is am I eating now or am I not eating now? It's like you're two people. One of you really wants a lot. The other is constantly, there's a voice in your head which keeps saying, no, you're not going to eat that. No, you're not going to eat that. No, you're not going to eat that. And then you rebel against that. And, because you can't keep yourself in control for a long time. And then you'll be like, what the heck? I don't care, what the world is about. I would just want to eat. Why you would rebel is because you would be like, why am I putting myself through so much torture to be somebody else?
I too had experienced this cycle of hunger and guilt. I too had felt not desired. I felt betrayed by my body in my personal relationships.
If I am going to college and a guy has probably not looked at me in the way he's looked at the other girl, and that instance has in a way made me feel insecure or inferior about my own body, I would come home, I would probably do binge eating. I would eat a lot because I'd feel really depressed that I'm not the kind of girl who's wanted. That was one of my major problems when I was in first and I felt that I'm not wanted at all, or I'm not good at anything. So I would come home and I'd probably eat a lot, and then would feel guilty that I've had so much, and then I would never be able to, that I've had so much, so I would never be able to have that ideal body. So to kind of to kind of get rid of that food, I would even try forced vomiting at times. There's this feeling of emptiness that you have inside you. You know, you're like, I'm nothing, I can't do anything, and I can't. So until and unless, of course, I reached at a certain level in college where I was appreciated for what I was, I could not get rid of those dissatisfactions, and they all pile on in a way on the body.
Our tendencies would be labelled as bulimic, bulimia, termed as a body image disorder in medical manuals. Could those words explain our anxieties away?
I don't know why. I mean, I'm not sure why would you focus on your body, but I think it's just because wherever you go, you're looking at it.
It is my belief that we have one such mirror inside our own brain, inside our own mind, and we look at ourselves all the time in that mirror. Now, if I'm looking at that mirror inside my mind and it's a normal plain mirror which does not have any aberrations, I get a very accurate or realistic representation of myself. If there is some aberration in that mirror, then the image that I see in that mirror would be a distorted image. The image that they have of themselves is that they are overweight, and they link the physical appearance to their attractiveness. They feel that because they are overweight, they must necessarily be unattractive. Because they are overweight, because they are fat, no one will like them. And this becomes a driving force for everything that they do in life. So body image disorder would be the underlying mechanism responsible for an eating disorder.
If it was a disorder, in sharing my story with Nisha and Shivani, I felt my therapy had already begun. As I revisited the space where I tried to sweat it all out, tried to control my body, I began looking at things in a new way.
Why do you exercise? I mean, well, to look good, to feel happy, to get a flat stomach. That's very, very important.
You got to accentuate the positive, line it to negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between.
God is giving me a certain structure. I can't change my structure because my structure is like that. My bones are heavy. I'm very muscular. So I cannot change. I can't say I can be like an Aishwarya Rai.
To illustrate his last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looked so dark?
Man, they said we better accentuate the positive, line it to negative.
As Bushra moved and danced, I did not see a body that was not beautiful, not thin, not perfect. I saw a joy that I could not quite put in words.
A complete body is what I would probably prefer to call it. A body which is complete is one with which you can do what you need to do.
Rashid put in words what I had felt about Bushra's body.
You see, I find a wonder and a delight in the human body. I mean, nothing delights me as much as seeing what the human body can do. I mean, I don't know how to really explain it, just watching people in class, for example, do a movement. For example, now, if you look at it, these are people who are not dancers or not performers. They are ordinary people who are discovering creativity and how to be able to move and how to dance and how to find the freedom of the movement of the body, or how to allow emotion and body to gel together. Ideally, when your partner jumps, try and stay more up. When your partner, for example, puts a leg or entwines a leg and then climbs up, we have ample time to adjust and feel the parameters of how the weight is coming. But when there's an explosion, the weight comes suddenly. So unless you're in a strong place, you will sag like a sack of potatoes, you'll go down. So even though I may have been doing it for the last 30 years, each time it's something, wow, look at that.
Rashid did not run the classes as therapeutic sessions. He helped the body rediscover the freedom of movement.
Your breasts are not okay, your chest is not okay, your back is not okay, your butt is not okay. 10,000 things. So yeah, I mean, that's a really terrible burden to carry, and the problem is that one thinks that it's an extreme case to carry something like this, but it's not really. Most normal people have a lot of fear, hurt, insecurity, resentment, pain regarding the body, especially their own body. A lot of people do. People won't admit it because they feel it's not a nice thing to admit. And also, admitting it is a bit like opening the Pandora's box. Once you see it, what the hell do you do with it? For me, it's always, each time it is something unbelievable, you know. Just the dip of one shoulder going somewhere, or the curve of a neck, or a particular movement where you feel you're watching and it's almost like time gets suspended and you can see this body experiencing something, and suddenly something real and true comes out of that body, you know, something real and true. In spite of that person's insecurities and fears and inhibitions and everything else. And even though I may have seen that same thing being done 10,000 times over in the last 30 years, it's still, wow, look at that. That's like something.
Rashid's words forced me to think back to when my body had experienced something real and true. And it surprised me that I had to go back a really long way.
1, 2, 3, start.
Now Susie Q. Now Susie Q. Now Susie Q. Oh baby, I love you, my Susie Q. Love the way you walk. Love the way you talk. I love the way you walk. I love the way you walk, my Susie Q. Hit me.
Our little performance ended in a fight, but nevertheless, I feel there is a joy and freedom in the way my body moves. As I look at these images, it is the loss of this freedom that strikes me harder, rather than the fact that I look thinner than my sister.
Ashley's teacher Nick, he came 5 years back, and his choreography had dreams and how dancers came in, how the company formed. And when the costume thing came, this was the best. He said to every company member, just write which body part you don't like. So some of them wrote stomach, some wrote thighs, some wrote arms, neck. I'm too thin, so my collarbone shows, my ribcage shows. And when the costumes were made, only that part was exposed. Not once did I see the ribcage, not once I did the huge thighs. I just saw the eyes and the bodies moving, and I could see personalities. I couldn't make out that they're exposing their weakness. And they were flying. If you see that video ever, they are flying on stage, flying. It's the illusion that you should have a great body. Yes, if you have, okay, you have an edge. End of the day, it's about your soul.
As a child, I had learnt dance for a while. After visiting Rashid's classes and the Dance Work studio, I wondered whether things would have been different had I continued. But at least these visits have helped me move beyond the fixed images of perfection that have haunted me for so long. These unmoving bodies looking down at me from their lighted squares no longer seem to judge me. I have discovered their tragedy. They do not move. They are perfect. They are dead.
I've been alone with you inside my mind, and in my dreams I've kissed your lips 1,000 times. I sometimes see you pass outside my door. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes, I can see it in your smile.
mannequin is perfect internationally.
I wonder though, if a happier time awaits them in the future. They might just find themselves being stared at in reverence, behind walls of glazed glass, amidst muted footfalls, in the museums of the future. The journey I have undertaken has made me realize that the perfect bodies I had been idolizing were only perfect images. I wondered if others made the same mistake.
Priyanka Chopra.
Priyanka Chopra.
Vipasha Basu. Vipasha.
Aishwarya Rai. Aishwarya Rai. Aishwarya Rai. Vipasha Basu.
Vipasha Basu.
Salman Khan Salman.
Shah Rukh Khan. I think Shah Rukh Khan is the best.
Myself.
If I needed someone, if I had some more time to spend, then I guess I'd be.
I asked them for the perfect body, but they spoke of images instead. They had never seen these bodies. We live in a world of images, and that cannot be wished away. An image always has somebody's fantasy behind it. The problem lies in letting other people's fantasies take over your body. I spoke to Anandita. Her voice is her identity, yet she shares with me the grief of not measuring up to the image.
We play Delhi's hottest hit music.
Men's doubles में टेनिस स्टार लिएंडर पेस और महेश भूपति ने गोल्ड तो जीत लिया है, but they also announced that this is their last match. I clearly remember when I was, that was my first radio jockeying job. I was in Radio Mirchi and I was jockeying. I was doing this afternoon show called Flashback, and for some reason I had suddenly got this celebrity status that I really enjoyed. One day I got to know that somebody in the reception told me that 3 guys have come to meet you and they say they're big fans and everything. So yeah, wow, I mean at 22 to have fans is great. So okay, so I walk out and I come to the reception, and I could figure them out. It must be those boys. So I said, hi, namaskar, which is Bengal, namaskar. So they looked at my face. They said, Anindita? So I said, yeah, Anindita. I am Anindita. They said, no, Anindita ke take it in. Please call Anindita. So I said, I'm Anindita. For them, it was like this complete shock. All these years, they were listening to a voice and that made a picture. And I was so not it. Through all these years, nothing has been perfect. Just nothing. From childhood up till now, images of my body as perceived by others and fed to me as absolutes have haunted me. I am going to go very, very fat. And after the baby is born, I'm going to again struggle. So it's like, sometimes I feel I've been struggling, just that I'm talking about it now. But in my head, I've been constantly struggling, and it's not funny now. It's like okay, too thin and not good enough, not too pretty, fat. It's just everything. So my struggle continues. My struggle of suiting images in the Elle magazine. My struggle of being the perfect hourglass. My struggle of wearing size M. My struggle of weighing just 55. My struggle of holding my stomach in. My struggle of posing straight for my photographs. My struggle of acceptance by others. My struggle of finally being able to fit the image. Sania Mirza didn't win the gold, but Linda Pace and Sania Mirza together won the gold, helping India regain the 6th place in the medals tally.
In a utopian world, people would stop pressurizing each other to look good. Once that happens, or once that would happen, eating disorders, body image disorders would disappear. But that would happen only in utopia, not in the real life or the real world where all of us stay.
I'm fat, I'll lose the weight. You're dumb, what will you do? Read a book? I've looked at people and said, I'm fat, I'll lose the weight. You're ugly, what will you do? I've gone through that aggressive phase. But today I prefer not to react.
A perfect body would promise, not promise, it comes with a framework, it comes with a It comes with a lot of things. It comes with the fact that you'll be rich, you'll be looking good every day.
The fact of it is, every time you attack someone, you're just trying to tell yourself you're okay. The minute you believe you're okay, your attack will stop, your justification will stop, everything will stop. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself.
The perfect time is not right now. It is never right now. You know, in case of body, it's never right now. You're always thinking of a time that will be much better.
I think the concept of perfection in anything is a very warped one. Because I think when things become perfect, then that's an end. What can you do after that? So it's finished. You should die.
In this journey that I made to recover my relationship with my body, I have discovered stories and anxieties that echo my own. As the good doctor said, we live in an imperfect world, and I am happy that we do.
When I was just a little girl.
As the red and yellow weighing machine spat out the familiar card, I flipped it over. All that it now told me was that I was shy, ambitious, strong, and friendly. I heard myself laugh and felt free enough to fly. A fantasy that belonged only to me.
The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be.